Hello, I'm John Scully, and I've been working as an artist educator for more than 20 years, specifically focusing on the creative use of technology in the artistic process. For about the last 5 years, I've been designing and delivering creative online education programs for artists, teachers, and students across the country and actually across the world. I'd like to speak to you about some considerations you should keep in mind as you conceive of, design, and deliver any digital programming to the audiences that you serve. For me, communication is at the heart of all human interactions. Whether that communication takes place in person, with an exchange where you sit in the same room with another person, or if your communication is with individuals or groups through online digital exchanges. You need to consider all of the aspects of your communication plan before you develop or purchase technology to serve those considerations. I'd like to pose some basic questions to help you clarify your communication goals so that they underpin your decision. It is important that the technology you choose to work with serves your needs rather than you serving the needs and constraints of the technology. To begin with, it's really important to consider what your communication needs are. And those come down to some very basic and simple questions: who, what, where, and that's going to help you provide the answer to how. Initially, who is your audience? Who are you trying to reach? Who do you serve? What do you want to share with that audience? And this could be as basic as performances or presentations or creative work, or could be ideas, could be education. You have to really know deeply what it is that you want to share with them before you can start to communicate that. And this will help to influence what is the best place or platform for you to share that with them. And these will help to inform you how you're going to set this up. So, as you consider the communication and perhaps the storing information and the sharing tools that you work on, there are a number of different platforms, probably a lot of them that you're using already, that you could potentially use for serving many of these needs. I'll start off talking about Google, as it's a platform that is multifaceted, allows you to both communicate with people, but also to store information and easily share and collaborate around it. And so Google's terrific if you want to create a document, present a document, which is what I'm doing right now, perhaps spreadsheets or survey creation. Google has many different aspects that allow you to be able to accomplish that. And the beautiful part of it is it's very easy to use. You can make and share documents quite simply, and it's secure, which is obviously really important in this digital age where information is being shared back and forth, and some of that confidential information. Some of you may have worked already in the video conferencing component of Google, which is Meet. And there's lots of great aspects in terms of being able to connect with it. However, if you do need to record your exchanges with your audience or with some of your team members, the record function only is present if you pay for your account. Generally, Google is free up to a certain capacity in being able to have meetings and share with people. Let's look a little bit at Teams, the Microsoft equivalent of Google. Many schools and lots of private individuals use it. Teams is very often used within organizations and corporations. It's very business oriented. It's very structured and it's very secure. And there's lots of fabulous aspects to Teams. There are multiple tools to make and store files and to share them. So those are all aspects that make up the Teams environment. Google has very similar ones to that, but they're made in a slightly different way. I personally find that Google is a little more accessible and easy to work with. Teams sometimes is a little bit more obtuse and a little bit more structured. But within Teams, there's the opportunity to chat with other team members, to make all kinds of teams and channels that you can interact with. And within Teams as well, there's a video conferencing platform where you can have exchanges between one or dozens of people at the same time. To summarize, I find Teams quite corporate, not very flexible, but it is very secure. It could be something you could work with, or perhaps you already are. Slack is another communication tool. And it's used widely within creative industries. It's very easy to share multiple kinds of platforms and different types of documents. And collaboration is actually quite straightforward and really encouraged within Slack. Share files by dropping them into the Slack channel that you're working on, share them with other members on your team. It's actually quite accessible for team building and for communication within individual teams. The platform works very well on all kinds of different devices. So you can integrate all kinds of apps directly into Slack. So you might have a Zoom call that is integrated within Slack. You can drop Google files into there really easily. Vimeo for sharing videos, or YouTube are easy to drop into, and there's no complications in terms of other people being able to access them. Zoom is a way to be able to actually hold a conference call or to interact with people. Zoom has made itself much more secure so that there's a lot less concern about people infiltrating into meetings that you have. They've instituted passcodes, waiting rooms, and so it's much easier to be able to control the meeting that you have. And it's flexible for scaling as well. You can have a Zoom meeting with 2 or 3 people, or you can have webinars where you interact with thousands of people and provide information for them on a very large scale and have them interact in real time with you. And the other thing about Zoom is they're continually updating their platform. You can share your screen. You're able to record sessions easily and then share those files back out later on. There's a chat function if you choose to enable that so that participants in your call can interact with each other via text. However, it's not really great for sharing files when you're actually in a meeting. It's a little bit awkward and you can't open them directly in the chat. Zoom works as a free platform if you're using just one-on-one interactions with each other to a time limit. And then there's a 40-minute time limit on group calls with more than 2 people. Skype is another very viable and long-time conference call communication system. It's very secure. It's somewhat flexible for scaling. You can have more people join into your calls. You can share the screen. You can record your sessions. There is a chat function within Skype during your calls, and there's no sign up required. So if someone wants to join in, they can do that easily. File sharing, I would describe it as medium on the scale of successful. You can share files with each other during calls, and it works, I would say, more successfully than with Zoom. So just to wrap up, I want to ensure that you're really considering carefully before you design your digital strategy and before you create your outreach and communication, that you've really carefully conceived of the goals that you want to work with, who your audience are, and so how you can serve them. And that will help to inform you in terms of what platforms you may actually choose to use and the ways in which you're going to communicate with the audiences that are out there.